Shalom. Most people wake up in chaos. Wealthy people wake up in command. I went from a broke, anxious accountant to a multi-millionaire not by working harder and definitely not by skipping my latte, but by hacking my morning with a secret that is 3,000 years old. You see, the moment you open your eyes, a war begins. It is a silent war for your attention, your energy, and your bank account. And right now, you are losing that war before your feet even hit the floor. Let me guess exactly how your morning starts. The alarm goes off. It's jarring, it's annoying. You hit snooze, delaying reality for 9 minutes. Then you wake up again, and the very first thing you do, the absolute first motion your hand makes, is reaching for your phone. You check your notifications, you check the news, you check your emails. In less than 60 seconds, you have flooded your brain with the agendas of 1,000 other people. You have invited the chaos of the world into your bedroom. You look at a text from your boss and your cortisol spikes. You look at an Instagram post of someone on a yacht in Dubai and your dopamine drops because you feel inadequate. You read a headline about a recession and fear sets in. By the time you actually get out of bed, you are already chemically addicted to stress. You are reactive, not proactive. You are playing defense, not offense. And you wonder why you feel drained by 2 p.m. You wonder why you can't focus on building that business or scaling that portfolio. It's because you gave away your most expensive asset, your focus, for free to an algorithm that hates you. I know this because I lived it. Years ago, I was drowning. I was working as an accountant in a small, suffocating office with no windows. I was $70,000 in debt. My marriage was on the rocks because I was always stressed, always tired, always chasing the next paycheck that was already spent before it arrived. I was a slave to the grind. I thought the answer was to wake up earlier, so I joined the 5 a.m. club. I took freezing cold showers because some guru on the internet told me it would make me rich. I drank the green juice. I did the burpees. And you know what happened? I was just a broke, stressed out guy who was also cold and tired. Nothing changed. The numbers in my bank account stayed red. The anxiety in my chest stayed heavy. That changed the day I met David. David wasn't a celebrity. You wouldn't know his name. But in the private circles of high finance and real estate, he was a ghost, a legend. The man didn't just have money, he had an empire. But what struck me about David wasn't his private jet or his watch, it was his presence. The man moved with a calmness that was terrifying. He never rushed. He never looked at his phone while you were talking to him. He seemed to operate on a different frequency than the rest of us mortals. I had the rare opportunity to audit his personal holding company. One morning, we were sitting in his study. It was quiet, uncomfortably quiet. I was vibrating with caffeine and anxiety, checking my phone every 30 seconds. David was just sitting there, drinking tea, looking out the window at the skyline he practically owned. He looked at me and he didn't ask about the tax returns. He asked, "Why are you running?" I laughed nervously. I said, "I'm not running, David. I'm just busy. I have a lot to do. I have to check these emails, the market is opening soon, and I need to—" He cut me off. He said, "You are running because you started your day running. You woke up as a servant, so you will spend the rest of the day serving." That hit me harder than a slap in the face. He leaned forward and told me something that shattered my entire worldview on productivity and wealth. He said, "The first 12 seconds of your day determine the next 12 hours, and the first thought you have determines your financial destiny." He told me that for 3,000 years, the Jewish mystics, the Kabbalists, and the great sages understood a biological reality that modern neuroscience is only just now catching up to. When you first wake up, your brain is not in a beta state. That's the high alert, stressed thinking state you are in right now. When you first open your eyes, your brain is drifting between delta and theta waves. Theta is the twilight zone. It is the state of deep relaxation, creativity, and extreme suggestibility. It is the state of hypnosis. Whatever you plant in your mind during those first few seconds of theta doesn't just go into your conscious mind. It sinks directly into your subconscious. It rewires your operating system. If your first action in that theta state is to look at a screen, you are essentially hypnotizing yourself to be anxious, distracted, and poor. You are programming your biocomputer with a virus called reaction. David looked me in the eye and said, "I don't touch my phone for the first hour of the day. Not because I'm better than you, but because I am selfish. I refuse to let the world write the code for my day. I write the code." He then taught me the ritual. He called it the resurrection of the king. It sounded dramatic, but when he explained the mechanics of it, it made perfect sense. It wasn't about religion in the way most people think of it. It was about alignment. It was about ancient technology. He asked me, "What is the first thing a corpse does if it comes back to life?" I was confused. I said, "I don't know. Breathe?" "Exactly," he said. "It breathes, and it realizes it is alive." Most people wake up and immediately think about their problems. They think about the debt. They think about the argument they had last night. They resurrect their trauma. They wake up as the old self. To build wealth, you must wake up as a new creation every single morning. This is where the secret lies. It is a specific phrase, a specific vibration that has been used by billionaires, diamond merchants, and sages for centuries. It is a code designed to override the brain's default negativity bias. You have to understand, your brain is designed to survive, not to thrive. It is designed to look for tigers in the bushes. That is why your first thoughts are usually negative or anxious. It's a survival mechanism. But in the modern world, there are no tigers. There are only emails. So that survival mechanism destroys your ability to create wealth. Wealth requires risk, creativity, and vision. Fear kills all three. So, how do you hack this? How do you flip the switch from survivor to creator in those crucial 12 seconds? David taught me to do 3 things immediately upon waking, before my feet touch the floor, before I check the time, before I even fully open my eyes. The first step is physical. It stops the drift. When you wake up, you usually just lie there, drifting back into sleep or drifting into worry. You need a physical anchor. He told me to bring my hands together. It sounds simple, almost childish, but there is a reason for it. Your hands represent your ability to act in the world. By bringing them together, you are physically closing the circuit. You are gathering your scattered energy. The second step is the download. This is the part that sounds crazy until you try it. David explained that the universe, God, the source, whatever you want to call it, is constantly broadcasting a signal of abundance. But your receiver is jammed with static, the static of your ego, the static of your fear. In that theta state, you have a direct line. You have to acknowledge the source of your power. It's not you. The broke accountant thinks he has to make the money. The billionaire knows he is a channel for the money. There is a massive difference. And then the third step, the spoken code. Words are not just sounds. Words are coordinates. In the ancient Hebrew tradition, words create reality. Abracadabra is actually from the Aramaic phrase avracadabra, which means I create as I speak. David gave me a phrase. He said, "Say this immediately. Do not think about it. Just say it." The phrase is Mode ani lefanecha. Now, before you click away thinking this is a language lesson, listen to the frequency of what that means. Translated, it means, I give thanks before you. But the order of the words is the key. In English, we say, I am thankful. The I comes first. The ego comes first. In the ancient code, mode, thankful, comes first. The gratitude precedes the ego. You are placing the state of gratitude before your identity. You are telling your subconscious, before I am a husband, before I am an accountant, before I am a debtor, I am grateful. Why does this matter for your bank account? Because gratitude is the only emotional state that cannot coexist with fear. You cannot be grateful and terrified at the same time. It is biologically impossible. By forcing gratitude as the very first operating code of your day, you are immunizing yourself against the scarcity mindset. I started doing this. The first morning, it felt weird. I woke up, hands together, mumbled the words. Then I reached for my phone. Old habits die hard. But by day 3, something shifted. I woke up, I said the code, and I lay there for a moment. I felt a strange sensation, silence. For the first time in 10 years, my heart wasn't racing. I got out of bed and, instead of checking my email, I walked to the window. I looked outside. I felt capable. I went to work that day and a client called, screaming about a tax audit. Usually, I would have crumbled. I would have apologized, panicked, and ruined my day. But that day, I listened. I felt detached. I was in command. I handled the situation with such calm authority that the client not only calmed down, but apologized to me. David told me this was just the beginning. He said, "You have fixed the software. Now you must upgrade the hardware." He introduced me to the second part of the morning ritual, the part that actually generates the millions. Because being calm is great, but being calm and broke is still broke. We need to turn that calmness into cash flow. He called this next phase the vessel. You see, money is like water. It flows. If you want to catch rain, you don't run around with a teaspoon. You build a bucket. You build a reservoir. Most people are running around with teaspoons, begging for drops. The vessel technique utilizes the first 20 minutes of your morning to construct a mental architecture that literally pulls opportunities towards you. It sounds like magic, but it's pure reticular activating system mechanics. Your reticular activating system, or RAS, is the filter in your brain that decides what is important. If you buy a red Tesla, suddenly you see red Teslas everywhere. Did the universe manufacture more red Teslas just for you? No, they were always there. Your RAS just started noticing them because you flagged them as important. Right now, your RAS is flagged for debt, stress, and problems. So you see every bill, every risk, every reason why you can't succeed. You are blind to the opportunities. The vessel technique reflags your RAS for expansion. Here is exactly how you do it. After the gratitude code, you do not go to the gym. You do not eat breakfast. You sit. You sit in a specific posture that David called the throne. Spine straight, chin up, palms open on your knees. This is the physical posture of receptivity. If you are hunched over, you are closed. If you are lying down, you are passive. You must be regal. In this position, you are going to run a mental movie, but not just any movie. Most people visualize what they want. They visualize the car, the house, the vacation. That is amateur hour. That is daydreaming. The Kabbalistic secret is not to visualize the object of desire, but the restriction necessary to earn it. Let me explain, because this is where 99% of law of attraction people get it wrong and stay poor. A vessel is defined by its boundaries. A cup is only useful because it has walls that restrict the liquid. If the walls break, the water spills. To hold massive wealth, you need massive discipline. You need boundaries. So, in the throne meditation, you visualize the problems you are going to solve today, but you visualize yourself solving them with absolute ease. You visualize the resistance, the difficult phone call, the boring paperwork, the complex negotiation, and you visualize yourself moving through it like water. You are training your nervous system to enjoy the friction. David told me, the amateur prays for an easy life. The professional prays for a strong back. I started visualizing my day. I saw myself walking into the office. I saw the stack of files. I saw the angry emails. And in my mind's eye, I saw myself smiling at them. I saw myself transmuting that pressure into power. 2 weeks into this practice, the strangest thing happened. I was at a networking event, one I usually would have skipped because I was too tired. I was standing there, holding a drink, feeling that new sense of command I had been cultivating. A man walked up to me. He looked frazzled. He was complaining about his current accountant, about how messy his books were, about how nobody understood the complexities of international shipping logistics. Now, the old me would have nodded politely and handed him a business card that he would have thrown away. The old me would have been desperate for the business, and he would have smelled that desperation. Desperation is a cologne that repels money. But the new me, the me that had spent 20 minutes that morning visualizing myself as a titan of industry, I looked at him and simply asked one question. A question that unlocked a door I didn't even know existed. I asked, are you looking for someone to file your taxes, or are you looking for someone to build you a strategy? He stopped complaining. He looked at me, really looked at me. What's the difference? He asked. About $4 million a year, I said. I didn't know where that number came from. It just bypassed my filter. It was the code speaking. He hired me on the spot. That one client doubled my income. But that wasn't the miracle. The miracle was that I wasn't surprised. I expected it. My vessel was finally big enough to hold the rain. But there is a trap. And this is the trap that catches almost everyone who starts to see a little bit of success with these methods. It's the trap of the ego rebound. About 6 months in, I was making good money. I was feeling on top of the world. And because I felt safe, I started to slip. I missed a morning, then 2. I checked my phone once or twice in bed. I've got this, I thought. I don't need the ritual anymore. I'm rich now. That is the moment the enemy waits for. The moment you think you are the source of the power cuts off. I walked into a deal that was supposed to be a slam dunk, a merger acquisition that would have set me up for life. I was arrogant. I hadn't done the throne. I hadn't set my intentions. I walked in with the chaos of the morning news rattling in my subconscious. I sat down at the table and the opposing counsel threw a curveball, a minor legal technicality. If I had been in my command state, I would have laughed it off and pivoted. But I was in my reactive state. I snapped. I got defensive. I lost my cool. The deal imploded. In 10 minutes, I lost a 6-figure commission. I called David in a panic. The ritual stopped working, I yelled. He laughed, a deep belly laugh. The ritual didn't stop working, he said. You stopped working the ritual. You thought the money was the goal. The money is not the goal. The state of mind is the goal. The money is just the shadow that the state of mind casts. He then told me the final, most dangerous part of the secret, the part that separates the millionaires from the billionaires, the part that requires you to confront the darkest part of yourself. He said, You have learned how to wake up. You have learned how to build the vessel. Now, you must learn how to kill the imposter. Because as you grow, as you expand, a voice in your head will get louder. The voice that says, "Who do you think you are?" The voice of the inner saboteur. David invited me to his estate for the weekend to show me the imposter protocol. I arrived at his gates expecting a weekend of luxury, fine dining, and philosophical chats by the fire. Instead, I found him outside in the pouring rain, digging a hole in the mud. "Grab a shovel," he said. I was wearing a $500 pair of shoes. "What are we doing?" I asked. "We are burying your poverty," he said, physically. What happened in the next 24 hours was not what I expected. It wasn't meditation. It was a psychological exorcism. And it started with a question that I want you to ask yourself right now. If someone handed you $10 million today, would it destroy you? Be honest. Would you lose your drive? Would you develop a drug habit? Would your family fall apart fighting over it? Most people pray for wealth, but their character is not built to sustain the weight of it. Wealth amplifies who you are. If you are anxious and broke, money will make you manic and rich. If you are greedy and broke, money will make you a monster. David taught me that the morning routine wasn't just about getting stuff. It was about building the skeletal structure of a character that could withstand the pressure of abundance. He told me, the higher the skyscraper, the deeper the foundation must be. If you want to touch the clouds, you have to be willing to dig in the dirt. So, are you ready to dig? Are you ready to hear the specific step-by-step protocol for the imposter death that David taught me in that rainstorm? Because this is the part that hurts. This is the part where most people turn off the video because they just want the easy hack. They want the magic pill. But there are no magic pills. There is only the code. And the code demands a sacrifice. The sacrifice is your old identity. If you are willing to pay that price, listen very closely to what comes next. Because what I am about to share is the nuclear launch code for your potential. David stood over me, the rain plastering his gray hair to his skull, looking like a monk from a dystopian future. He didn't offer encouragement. He didn't offer a towel. He simply watched as I shoveled the heavy, wet clay. My shoes were ruined. My hands were blistering. But the physical pain was nothing compared to the mental confusion. "What goes in the hole?" "David!" I shouted over the sound of the storm. He stepped closer, his voice cutting through the wind. "Everything you think you are, the nice guy, the people pleaser, the victim, the talented genius who is just misunderstood. Throw them in." I hesitated. "Dig!" he roared. And as I dug, something strange happened. The exhaustion stripped away my defenses. When you are cold, wet, and physically broken, you cannot maintain a facade. The polite social mask slips off because you don't have the energy to hold it up. David crouched down beside the pit. "The imposter is a parasite," he said, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper. "It feeds on your need for validation. It whispers that you need to be liked. It tells you that if you show your teeth, people will abandon you. So you become soft. You become harmless. And a harmless man is not a virtuous man. A harmless man is just a victim in waiting." He handed me a heavy waterproof box. "Put it in." "Put what in?" "Your phone," he said. "Your wallet, your watch, your identity cards." I froze. That was my life. That was my connection to the world. "Do it," he commanded. "Tonight, you do not exist. The man who owns those things is dead. You are a ghost, and ghosts have nothing to lose. I dropped the box into the mud. The third it made felt like a coffin closing. We covered it with dirt. We buried my name. We buried my status. And then, soaking wet and shivering, we walked into his house. I expected warmth. I expected a drink. But the protocol was only beginning. David led me to a room with no furniture, just a single chair facing a full-length mirror. The lights were dim, almost non-existent. "Sit," he said. I sat. "This is the black reflection technique," David explained. "You are going to stare into your own eyes. You are not going to look away. You are not going to blink more than necessary. You are going to sit here for 3 hours. 3 hours? I'll go insane." "Exactly," David smiled. "You need to go insane to find the sanity underneath. The imposter lives in your conscious mind. It lives in the chatter. We need to break the chatter. Watch your face. Watch it warp. Watch it melt. Watch the monsters come out. And when they do, don't fight them. Ask them what they want." He left the room and locked the door. The first 20 minutes were boring. The next 20 were annoying. But around the hour mark, the hallucination began. This is a known psychological phenomenon called the Troxler effect, but knowing the science didn't make it less terrifying. My face in the mirror began to distort. My eyes went black. My skin seemed to rot and then heal. I saw my father's face. I saw the face of the bully from 3rd grade. I saw the face of a demon. I felt a rising panic, a scream building in my chest. The imposter was screaming. It was terrified of the silence. It was terrified of being seen. And then the voice spoke, not an audible voice, but a thought so clear it felt like a transmission. "You are weak because you are hiding your hunger." I stared at the reflection. The face in the mirror stopped warping and sharpened into a cold, predatory expression. It was me, but it wasn't the me I showed the world. It was the shadow. "You want power," the voice said, "but you pretend you just want to help people. You want dominance, but you act humble. You are a liar. That is why you feel like a fraud, because you are one. You are lying about your nature." Tears streamed down my face, not tears of sadness, but of relief. The exhaustion of pretending to be a good, humble person was washing away. I wasn't humble. I was ambitious. I wasn't just nice. I was strategic. I had a dark side, a side that wanted to conquer, to win, to crush obstacles. By suppressing that side, I had cut off half my energy source. I was trying to run a nuclear reactor on solar power. When David unlocked the door 3 hours later, I didn't look at him. I was still looking at the mirror. "Did you meet him?" David asked softly. "Yes," I whispered. "Is he evil?" "No," I said. "He's just hungry." "Good," David said. "Now we feed him." We went to his study. He pulled out a fresh notebook. "The imposter is dead. We buried him in the mud. The man who walked out of that room is the king. But a king needs a code. You cannot operate on the old software." This is the part of the video where you need to take notes, because what David dictated to me that night became the framework for everything I have built since. This is the resurrection protocol. He gave me 3 rules, 3 non-negotiable laws that the new identity had to follow. If you break these laws, the imposter returns. If you keep them, you become untouchable. Law number 1, radical alignment. David said, "An imposter is created when there is a gap between your thoughts, your words, and your actions. If you think, I should work out, say, I will do it tomorrow, and then do nothing, you create a fracture in your psyche. Through that fracture, anxiety enters. The cure is simple but brutal. Never say a word you do not mean. If you say you will do something, you must do it, even if it destroys you. If you tell yourself you will wake up at 5 a.m. and you sleep until 5:01, you have betrayed yourself. You have signaled to your subconscious that you are a liar. When your word becomes law to yourself, the universe begins to treat your commands as law as well. You stop doubting yourself because you have a track record of absolute obedience to your own will. Law number 2, the death of maybe. The imposter hides in ambiguity, David told me, pouring 2 glasses of dark liquid, not alcohol, but a bitter herbal tonic. He loves the gray area. Maybe I'll start the business. I'm kind of trying to lose weight. I sort of want to be rich. He slammed his hand on the table. Eliminate maybe from your vocabulary. You are either doing it or you are not. You are either alive or you are dead. Polarize your life. If the answer is not a hell yes, it is a hell no. The energy you waste on hesitation is the energy you could have used to build an empire. He looked at me with intensity. When you walk into a room, decide. When you look at a woman, decide. When you look at a business deal, decide. Wrong decisions are better than no decisions. A wrong decision can be corrected. Indecision is a slow rot. Law number 3, weaponized selfishness. This was the hardest one to hear. We are taught that selfishness is evil. David flipped the script. You cannot save anyone if you are drowning, he said. The imposter tries to please everyone to buy safety. The king protects the kingdom by protecting himself first. You must protect your time, your energy, and your focus with violence. Violence? I asked. Yes, violence. Not physical violence against others, but violence against intrusion. If someone tries to steal your morning focus time, you cut them off. If a toxic friend tries to dump their garbage in your mind, you block them. You build a wall around your potential. People will call you arrogant. They will call you distant. Let them. Sheep always fear the shepherd's silence. We talked until the sun came up. We mapped out the next 5 years of my life not based on goals, but on character traits. We didn't write, I want a Ferrari. We wrote, I will become the type of man who commands such value that a Ferrari is a trivial expense. Do you see the difference? The imposter chases the object. The master chases the transformation. When I walked out of David's estate the next morning, I dug up the box. I put on my watch. I turned on my phone. 100 notifications flooded in. Emails, texts, social media updates. Usually, this would trigger a spike of anxiety. I would feel the need to respond, to apologize for being away, to react. But as I held the phone, I felt nothing. I looked at the screen. It was just glass and light. It wasn't my master. It was a tool. I put it in my pocket without checking a single message. I walked to my car, destroyed shoes squishing in the mud, and I drove home in silence. No radio, no podcast, just the hum of the engine and the terrifying, beautiful clarity of my own mind. The imposter was gone. He was still buried in that hole in David's backyard. Now, I am speaking to you. You, holding your phone, watching this screen. You feel it, don't you? You feel the weight of the mask you've been wearing. You're tired of smiling when you want to scream. You're tired of apologizing for your ambition. You're tired of playing small so you don't intimidate the people around you. You don't have a muddy field to dig a hole in. You don't have a mentor like David to lock you in a dark room. But you don't need them, because I am giving you the shovel right now. Here is your protocol for tonight. This is not a suggestion. This is a command from your future self. Step 1. Tonight, when the house is quiet, turn off every light. Sit in the dark. No phone, no music, just you and the abyss. Step 2. Ask yourself the question that scares you the most. Who would I be if I stopped trying to be a good person and started trying to be a great person? There is a difference. Good is compliant. Great is formidable. Step 3. Visualize the imposter. Give him a shape. Maybe he looks like you, but smaller, hunched over, fearful. Imagine dragging him to the edge of a cliff. Imagine pushing him off. Watch him fall. And as he falls, feel the tether snap. You will feel a physical sensation in your chest, a lightness, a rush of cold air. That is the vacuum created by the absence of fear. Now, fill that vacuum. Fill it with the code, radical alignment, the death of maybe. Weaponized selfishness. This path is not for everyone. Most people will click off this video and go back to watching cat videos or political arguments. They will go back to sleep. They will die as imposters, buried in a grave of regret, having lived a life that belonged to someone else. But you are still here. You are still listening, which means a part of you is already awake. A part of you is already clawing at the walls of the prison. The shovel is in your hands. The rain is falling. The mud is deep. Stop waiting for permission to be who you are. The world doesn't give permission. The world only gives way. Bury the imposter and let the titan rise. This has been the protocol. Now, get to work.